Imagine sitting in a crowded school cafeteria, the sound of laughter and chatter filling the air, when suddenly everything changes. A teenage girl, already struggling to fit in, becomes the center of cruel attention. Not for anything she said, not for anything she did, but because bullies thought humiliation was funny. They reached for her in a way that should never happen, a violation that froze her in shame. But what they didn't know was that one small device, just a phone in the corner, was recording everything. And that recording would not only change her life, but send her bullies exactly where they belonged, behind bars. This is Anna's story. And once you hear it, you'll never forget it. Anna was 16, soft-spoken, with a heart bigger than most people could understand. Her family had just moved into town after her father lost his job at the factory, forcing them to relocate in search of better opportunities. New schools are tough for anyone, but for Anna, with her thrift store clothes and quiet nature, it felt like stepping into a battlefield she was never trained for. The first few weeks were tolerable. Some whispers behind her back, some snickering when she pulled out her worn-out notebooks. But she learned to push it aside. She always told herself, just focus on your grades, Anna. Mom's working 2 jobs. Dad's trying his best, you can't let them down. But then came the cafeteria. It was a Friday. The lunchroom was buzzing, students shouting across tables, trays clattering. Anna carried her tray carefully, searching for a quiet corner. That's when the bullies noticed her. 3 of them. Jason, the loud one who loved the spotlight, Brooke, who smirked like she ruled the world, and Max, the type who laughed at every cruel joke to stay included. Anna passed their table, and Jason stuck out his foot. She stumbled but didn't fall. She kept walking. He called out, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Hey, thrift shop queen! Nice shoes, did the dumpster give them to you?" Laughter erupted. Anna's cheeks burned, but she ignored it and sat down. But they weren't finished. As she bent over to pick up her fork that had fallen, Jason reached out and tugged at her brass strap, snapping it against her back. The sound, sharp and humiliating, cut through the cafeteria noise. Gasps filled the room. Some kids laughed. Some looked away, uncomfortable. Anna froze, every inch of her body burning in shame. Her eyes welled up, but she refused to let tears fall in front of them. She grabbed her tray and ran out, the sound of their laughter chasing her down the hall. What Anna didn't know, what the bullies didn't know, was that another student, Mia, had been recording the whole scene on her phone. Maya had never been close to Anna, but she hated injustice. And that moment, she knew the bullies had crossed a line no one should ever cross. That night, Anna sat on her bed, hugging her pillow, wishing the world could just stop spinning for a while. She thought about telling her mom, but how could she? Her mom was already exhausted, dragging herself home past midnight after double shifts. She didn't want to add to her burden, so she stayed silent, burying the pain deep inside. But Mia wasn't silent. She uploaded the video, not publicly, but to the school's anonymous student forum. By Monday morning it had spread like wildfire. Students who had laughed now watched the replay and felt sick. Teachers saw it. Parents saw it. And finally, Anna couldn't hide anymore. The principal called her in. "Anna," he said gently, "I want you to know, we saw what happened." Anna's hands trembled. She expected punishment, shame, more whispers. But instead, she heard words she never thought she'd hear. "You are not alone in this." Chapter 2, The Truth Fights Back. The investigation began immediately. The video left no room for excuses. Jason's smirk, Brooke's mocking laugh, Max's approving nod, it was all there. For once, the truth wasn't twisted by popularity or lies. It was undeniable. The school suspended the bullies, but the matter didn't end there. The incident was too severe, too violating to be brushed aside. The police got involved. Anna had never stepped inside a police station before, but there she was, sitting across from officers who told her, "This isn't your fault. What they did counts as harassment and assault." Her voice shook as she gave her statement, but she pushed through. For the first time, she realized her silence had only protected her bullies, not herself. And with that video as proof, her words finally had power. Court dates followed. The bullies tried to laugh it off at first, claiming it was just a joke. But no one was laughing anymore. Parents who once dismissed their behavior sat in shock as the video replayed before the judge. The humiliation Anna had felt was now turned on them, but this time in the form of accountability. When the verdict came, it was clear: community service, mandatory counseling, and juvenile detention for Jason, the ringleader. The others weren't spared either. For once, consequences caught up with cruelty. But more than their punishment, something else changed. The students who had once avoided Anna began to approach her. Some whispered apologies. Some simply sat with her at lunch. Mia, the girl who had recorded the video, became her closest friend. She told Anna one afternoon, "You don't realize how strong you are. You didn't let them break you, even when you were alone." Anna learned that strength doesn't always look like shouting back or fighting with fists. Sometimes, strength is surviving the storm until the truth comes to light. Months later, when the school invited her to speak at an assembly on bullying awareness, Anna stood on stage. Her hands trembling, her heart racing, she looked out at hundreds of faces, some sympathetic, some guilty, some curious. She took a deep breath and said, "What happened to me could happen to anyone. But I want you to remember this silence only protects the wrong people. Speak up. You're never as alone as you think you are." The applause wasn't just polite, it was real. For once, Anna wasn't the quiet girl in thrift store clothes. She was the voice of every kid who had ever been humiliated, every kid who thought no one cared. And as the years went on, Anna carried that lesson with her. Not bitterness, not fear, but the courage to stand tall, knowing the truth will always find its way. This story reminds us that cruelty may get laughs in the moment, but truth and justice always have the final word. No one deserves humiliation, and no one should suffer in silence. Speak up, support others, and remember, sometimes the smallest act, like hitting record on a phone, can change someone's entire life.